Okay, everyone. I'm so glad you're here today. It's 10:03. We're going to get started right now. I want to welcome you to our webinar. Again, the name of this webinar is How the Right Video Strategy Will Cut an Hour from Your Workday and Double Your Sales. I just want to ask if all of you could take a moment and go up to your chat, which are the little speech bubbles up at the upper left of your screen. Take a moment to say hello, introduce yourself. I see people joining us, and we'd love to have everyone know who you are. I think we're going to have folks trickling in for the next few minutes as well. But I don't want to hold things up. I do want to get started. So I want to really thank you for joining us. I'm very eager to share this information with you. A couple housekeeping items. I just want to make sure you guys can all hear me, see the title slide. So maybe when you introduce yourself, you can, say hello and that everything's looking good. We are going to leave the chat open. So if you want to comment on the presentation along the way, feel free to do that. At the end, we're going to open up the question and answers window. That is actually a different window. So at that point, you can ask your questions. Otherwise, if you start asking them now, they're going to get buried and I won't be able to find them. So we will open up that Q&A, and we're going to want to make sure you leave today with all the answers you want. We are also going to have a link to the recorded version of this webinar available, so you really don't have to worry about taking notes unless you absolutely want to. Of course, you're welcome to. Most importantly, I really would love you to do yourself a favor. This webinar really has the ability to kick off some major changes in your life and your business success. So I really do urge you to give yourself a gift of full attention. No distractions, no phone, email, text, Skype. Just get yourself into the quietest, most focused situation you can so you can really absorb what we're going to cover. All right, some of you already know me, but many of you don't. My name is Robert Cassard, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer and Creative Director of VoodooViral Marketing. I have been writing and directing money-making business videos for a long time, over 25 years, in fact. And one of the things I'm proud of is having been able to use video to generate triple-digit returns for a lot of companies, large and small. Among the large ones, Logitech and HP Enterprise, Avnet, Mitel, General Motors, a whole bunch of others. But one of the things I'm most proud of in my career is that I am a co-founder of Voodoo. Voodoo is an automated video communications service and software platform. And its whole purpose is to help companies like yours leverage video consistently and effectively on the web. So that's who I am, and I'm eager to get to know you guys as we move along through our process. So let's start here. We really want to talk today about automating your success. And to accomplish that, you first need to understand that video is vitally important to your future. And you're going to have to use video if you want to work less and sell more. I'm also going to show you how a constant stream of new leads, repeat purchases, and referrals will come through the elegant simplicity of having your own automated video strategy. That's really our goal, something that's fairly simple, can't be super simple, but quite elegant in its simplicity, and something that will really automate your success. So here's our plan for today. We're going to spend about 40 minutes on the core information, and then I'm planning around 15 minutes of Q&A at the end, and that's when we'll open things up so you can get everything answered. I also mentioned, as you saw in the webinar invitation, everyone on today's call is going to receive a special guide from us. It's called Using Video to Maximize the Lifetime Value of a Customer. That's a mouthful, but I think it's a key topic. And the reason it's so important is because all the statistics show that small increases in customer retention result in big increases in lifetime profits. And in fact, the number I've seen most recently is that a 5% increase in your customer retention is going to result in a 75% increase in your aggregate lifetime profits. So really the lesson there is if you can keep your customers, you're already on your way to doubling your sales, which is obviously our goal today. I also urge you to stay with me to the very end today, because everyone who does is also going to get a special gift from us. And what this is a private strategy session. It's a session in which Voodoo experts are going to sit with you and develop a customized video success plan. It's going to be tailored specifically to your telecom dealership. This is not something we offer anywhere else. It's free today, but only when you book it through this webinar. Okay, let's dive in. So here's my promise to you. By the time this webinar is over, you'll know how to use automated video communications to grow your telecom dealership, cut an hour off your workday, and double your income. That's basically the title of the webinar, so no surprise there. But those are pretty big promises. And the awesome thing for me is that I can actually make promises like that with total confidence, because I've been through this process hundreds of times with all types of clients. And I'll tell you about a few of them during this webinar. Voodoo's been involved with automated video for almost 10 years now, and we've seen videos generate millions of dollars in sales. We've watched clients put their success on autopilot. We've seen them use long shelf life videos just like an ATM. It just never stops feeding them hot new leads, converting the leads into appointments, and ultimately helps them turn those leads into closed deals. Now, what I'm talking about today is a little bit different than just, oh, hey, we have a video. I'm talking about video as a strategic business asset. When you have the right videos working for you, they're as tangible as real estate, for your office. And they're actually way more certain to generate returns quickly. A lot of things you invest in are just expenses. The money goes out the door. This is something that brings money back in. All right, I am getting excited. I hope you're excited too. I would love for you to just give a quick type into your chat to tell me if everything is working well and if you're ready to dive in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on here. So for you guys to all understand why I'm just stoked about automated video, I kind of need to go back in time before it was even possible to use web video. I literally could not have made the promises I'm making on this webinar. Back in the 80s and in the 90s, I was an account executive and a marketing strategist. I worked at various ad agencies, and it really was just agonizing to try to help small or medium-sized clients just because of the high cost of marketing back then. Now, even in the early 80s, this will give you an idea of how dramatic this is. We wouldn't touch a client unless they had at least $100,000 a year to spend. And I'm kind of guessing that would rule out a fair number of you that are on this call. If I said to you, hey, put $100,000 in, that's the minimum, you'd have to think very hard about that. Now, in those days, we'd take about half of a client's $100,000 budget, and that would get eaten up just by creative services. And then the other half would get eaten up by media placement. So it was really a kind of brutal scenario. It was very difficult for a small business to grow. And the only way we could measure success and prove ROI were just monitoring the short-term sales blips. There wasn't any way to tie success directly to the advertising, and it didn't matter how much the client was paying. You still had that limitation. So a little later, I'm going to show you how different things are today and why that's amazing news for you. But yeah, 100,000 minimum, what did it buy you? Most people didn't even know. All right, let's take a look at what video can accomplish online. I have a testimonial here from one of Voodoo's first clients. Now, we first connected with Dallas Van Kempen from Ovation Hair about 10 years ago, and he's still a customer today, I'm happy to say. But here's what he has to say. And this is a guy who literally grew his business from nothing, zero in sales, into a $25 million a year online retailer. It's growing every year. And here's what he had to say. He said, when we saw things start to take off, I felt like I was day trading stocks. I would go back every 5 or 10 minutes and check. To get to the point where we are now in gross sales, it took our other company 10 years. Automated video got us there in 6 months. Since then, by being able to stay in touch with customers using an automated system, we've seen sales continue up and up and up. So that's one man's story. What I love about Dallas's story is that just this past summer, 10 years later, he is now semi-retired and living in Idaho. He turned over the reins, being the CEO of the company, and now he's got it managed, and the video keeps humming along and keeps the business growing. So that's the kind of story I'd like all of you guys to have. Video, it's really got the emotional impact. It is the way to communicate with emotional impact. Emotion is actually what sells, convinces, and makes people like you and trust you in your brand. So if you think about it this way, it's hard to put emotion into written words on a web page. In fact, the more emotion you try to put in, the more it tends to feel fake or inauthentic. You know, like, I'm really writing with emotion, feel something, exclamation points, you know, all of that. Video is actually the opposite. A real person can be on video and they can get very enthusiastic, even passionate on camera, and people will know if it's real. You know, so the bottom line here is, if you aren't using video to sell online, you're just missing that emotional advantage and you're losing business, probably quite a lot of business. Now, I'm sure you've noticed there's a real video bandwagon happening. You know, everybody's jumping on it. And that's because most selling today is happening through online research. People are putting in their keywords, going online and checking things out. Video is becoming more and more essential because of that. When people do their searches, they really want rich content back. And believe me, as the millennial portion of your clientele grows, you are just not going to survive. You're not going to be able to move forward unless you're using video. So all the major online retailers have figured this out. Here's an amazing statistic. At the end of 2015, 48 out of the top 50 online retailers were using video to increase their sales. So that gives you some idea. The year before, in 2014, that number was 28 out of the top 50. So literally in the last year, you had that huge percentage jumping on the bandwagon. The thing about video is that, from what I've seen, it's even a bigger bonanza for a small or emerging business, because it's one way you can be better, more real, more authentic, and actually more helpful than the big guys. So as I see it, the fastest, most effective way to sell high-ticket B2B products and services is the following. You use consistent, targeted outreach with an emotional, truthful, and value-giving conversion funnel with video at the core. I know there's a lot of big words, but consistent, targeted outreach, emotional, truthful, and value-giving conversion funnel. Compared to all your other marketing options, this method is going to involve less risk. It's going to cost less generally. And from everything I've seen, and I have seen a lot, the return on your investment is virtually guaranteed from doing this. All right, let me just run down some video facts for you. If you have any doubt yet about the importance of video, I think this will give you some insight. Video is the marketing trend for fast-growing B2B businesses. 92% of them plan to use video marketing in 2016. I hope you guys are among that 92%. Video immediately sets you apart. Adding a video to your website increases your chance of a front page Google result by a factor of 53. Okay, that you just gotta let that sink in for a minute. Put a video on your website and your chance of a front page Google result is enhanced by 53x. That's a crazy, crazy advantage. Video does help you create a rock star brand, and we all need to do that, right? Here's the reason why. YouTube is the #2 global search engine right now. Google's #1, YouTube is #2, and of course Google owns both. It's part of the reason that when you put things on YouTube, they help your Google results. These algorithms are tied together. Anyway, you've got to be on YouTube with professional branded video or you're gonna miss out. Video forces you to grow. You actually can't avoid it when you're using video, and that's because video in emails is going to double your click-through rates. And if you're using social, blog content, etc., people are 10 times more likely to engage with a video than your other types of content. So So you can tell that is where growth comes from, right? Is that kind of engagement. Video builds relationships with your soon-to-be customers. And this is why that happens. Our brains actually process visuals 60,000 times faster than text. Talk about an advantage, right? Stories, video is very good for stories. Stories are 22 times more memorable than facts alone. Finally, viewers recall 95% of what they see in a video, but only 10% of what they read. Now, I can tell you from my own experience, I go on video a fair amount for Voodoo and for other businesses, and I can tell you that people feel a lot more comfortable doing business with someone they know, or at least that they feel like they know. It really always surprises me how people already know me from my videos when I've never met them. So that's a real advantage that video gives you. There's still more facts here. Video makes you more money than any other marketing tool. 71% of marketers say conversion rates from video outperform all other marketing content. Now, the reason it's only 71% and not just 99% is because I can almost guarantee those other 29% have probably never used video. They don't know how powerful it is yet. That number is going to just keep going up. Few more little things that you should know is that Voodoo engages the audience directly. It conveys your message just perfectly every time. It's going to make you real, likable, and trustworthy. That's what I mentioned before, which lowers barriers to entry. And it really leverages your time because you can reach so many people with messages you only have to record once. So that's a huge advantage. You talk about time leveraging, video is an awesome tool. Okay. So now you know why video is so important. Now the question is, what are you going to do with video? So here's what I'd like you to do with me right now. Bear with me for a sec. I want to take a moment and project ourselves into the future. I'd actually like you to even close your eyes and see yourself 6 to 9 months from today. Now here's what things look like. Imagine that you've got a group of strategic videos in place. I'm talking about somewhere between 10 and 20 videos. You have videos embedded on your website, so people are finding you more easily. New leads and prospects are getting the information they need in a way that makes them comfortable and creates an immediate affinity with you and your company. Your videos have totally brought your social media to life. You've got more followers, connections, and fans, and they're sharing your videos with other people who need your services. Your videos are also being launched consistently and automatically through email and video campaigns. We sometimes call those e-video campaigns. The campaigns are reaching out, they're finding new leads with no effort or cold calling. They're making your current customers happier without you even needing to call or have direct contact. And your happy customers are passing along referrals. They're coming right to you, but they're using video to pass along the referrals. So they're sharing your story with a whole new group of prospects, and they're doing it perfectly every time. So that's a pretty beautiful future we're talking about. You're living the results of working less and selling more. In that scenario, your sales have doubled organically, and with the automation that's in place, your leads and your customers are actually getting better service from you with far less of your time. So just take a moment to soak in and believe that vision for a minute, because that is absolutely attainable. Okay, now snap back to reality. If you're not using video and automation yet, you're just working way too hard for mediocre results. So I ask your permission now to show you how to realize that vision starting today. Why should you commit to a video strategy now? Well, as a person in the telecom industry, you can ask yourself a few questions. Am I tired of scraping by and seeing other telecom dealers grow? Am I ready to move up to a higher tier as a reseller so I get all those benefits, bigger discounts, maximum MDF, free trips? Am I sincere about wanting to work less and sell more ASAP? The video strategy that we're sharing today is perfect for you if you're just fed up with average or diminishing performance and just doing the same old, same old. So we're about to change your success starting today. Let's see how to do it. I'm talking about your own video strategy. This is a blueprint to growing your dealership quickly and predictably using automated video. So let's start by agreeing that creating professional, customer-serving, brand-building videos is hard to do right. You know, if it were easy, every telecom dealership would have done it already, including your own. And trying to produce professional videos without knowing the secrets is really like trying to build a house without a blueprint. You're just going to spend a lot of time and money, and you're going to end up with something you wouldn't even want to live in. That said, you can't let fear of video stop you either. You can't just sit on the sidelines with all that money and success at stake. And we see that the longer people are waiting, the further behind they're getting. And then when you do finally start using video, you're just behind the curve. So we don't want you to be in that situation. So what are 5 best practices for doing video the right way? I really want you to focus in here, because these tips are going to literally save you thousands of dollars, and they're going to make you thousands more if you follow them closely. Best practice number 1, you need a video philosophy. Now you might be thinking, ouch, we got to talk about philosophy. The answer is yes, because there's a big irony in producing videos today. On one hand, it's easier than ever, right? You know, everybody's walking around with an HD camcorder in their pocket. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a Samsung or an iPhone, anyone can shoot high quality visuals. But that's led to a huge amount of videos that aren't worth watching. Here's a fun fact. As of last November, 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. Oof, that's incredible. Now, most of those videos just waste your time. They're videos that don't have a clear purpose, videos with crappy sound, videos that just look bad and erode trust. Those are what I call brand killers. And believe me, the last thing you ever want to do is to invest your time and money into producing a brand killer, or especially more than one brand killer. It's just painful. Here's the good news. As the quantity of garbage video increases, so does your opportunity to create videos that give your audience what they actually crave, which is answers to their questions, reassurance, and real value for the time they spend watching. So there's your new video philosophy in 2 words. That was not hard, right? Provide value. You should measure everything you do against that standard. Just ask yourself, does this provide real value? Asking that question and answering it honestly is going to cut your scripts in half. It's going to double your viewer engagement, and it really will maximize the effect of the videos you produce. Because really, if something doesn't provide value, it should not make the final cut. It should not be something you put up on the web. This is a way of respecting your audience. Best practice number 2 is you really need a narrow target. If you really want to provide value, you need to know exactly who you're talking to and what they care about. So there's a lot of ways to narrow down your target audience. Some are more effective than others, but just to give you an idea, you can narrow by titles or positions. You can narrow by vertical sectors, company size, maybe geography. The whole point, though, is the narrower the better. I personally love narrowing by vertical because that is just a great way for you to be able to figure out how you and your company serve that target group's deepest needs. Narrow targeting also lets you communicate more specifically and speak the language of the viewer. This is what's going to give every video a lot more authenticity and impact. So I really encourage you to go through the exercise of narrowing your target. It will pay off. Best practice number 3 is to make it about them, not you. This is the single most important video advice I can even give you today. It's not what are we selling, but what do they need? How do you serve the people who are looking for, want, or need what you offer? So if your videos embody this spirit of service, they're going to advance and grow your brand naturally, and more sales and money will flow to you as a byproduct. The more the viewer smells advertising, the more they're going to run away. So make it about them and their needs, and that will serve you very, very well. Best practice number 4 is to budget your videos based on projected results, not based on your current circumstances. So people always ask, how much does a video cost? And personally, I think a better question is, what results will this video generate? And therefore, what's it worth to me? It's always smart to kind of back into your budgets with that kind of probing. So here's an example. Let's say you do a Google search for business phones in your local market, and your business currently shows up on page 4 in the organic or unpaid results. Now, what page 4 means is that pretty much no one finds you via a keyword search. So they won't know you exist. They don't come to your website, and they almost certainly don't do business with you. Now, let's say you've produced a custom video and you've hosted it publicly on YouTube, you've embedded it in your homepage, and you've spread it around your local market using email and social media. And you've generated a few thousand views. So as I told you before, a video on your homepage increases the chance of a page 1 Google result by a factor of 53. So now your company has a shot at appearing on page 1. And let's say it does, maybe a month or two, but now you're on page 1. And suddenly you are getting 2 or more leads per week directly from organic search. That's, just for estimation, we'll say that's 8 interested leads per month. And at least one of them is going to convert to a deal worth, let's say, an average of $10,000. Those 12 deals a year are netting you $120,000 in revenue and as much as $48,000 in profit. Now step away and ask yourself, what's the value of that custom video and what should you be willing to pay to get it produced? This does frame things a lot differently. Are you willing to spend, let's say, just 2 months worth of the profit you're likely to make from organic search during year 1, right? That sounds like a bargain to me. So that would give you a video budget of $8,000. And guess what? That just happens to be a big enough budget to produce a national quality video of 2 minutes or less. So when you start thinking about your budgets in terms of these results, it helps to let everything fit together. You start to see the logic of how this goes together and why it's really worth making an investment in video. And when it comes to ballpark budgets, most business videos, and I'm not talking about high budget ads that you want to put on TV. We're talking about business videos for the web. They should cost $5,000 per finished minute or less. And at that price, even if you're paying the full $5,000 a finished minute, with most of them clocking in under 2 minutes, they're pretty much guaranteed to pay for themselves and generate positive ROI within 3 to 6 months. And it kind of doesn't matter what video it is, that tends to be true from what we see. Now, here's something that's great. The $5,000 per finished minute dollar amount will cover most styles of business videos that are proven to be effective. So here are some examples. Concierge style, which has an on-camera host supported with motion graphics next to them. An animated whiteboard, which is an artist's hand drawing the content. You've all seen these. These are, right now, they're very hot. And the reason is because the statistics for how many people watch them all the way through are just outstanding. People seem to get very intrigued by watching that artist's hand, and they want to see what it's going to do. Another style, of course, is full animation, which lets you, sky's the limit. You can do anything. And then another very effective style of video is customer stories, which are on-location testimonials or case studies that help people see themselves in the video and in the way you helped other people. So the first thing a lot of people think when they hear a number like 5,000 a finished minute is, I can get that done cheaper. And of course you can. It's really easy to start projecting yourself into this and say, well, hey, I've got an iPhone and iMovie, I'll just do it myself. Or I'm not going to pay the full boat. I'm going to find someone with less experience and I'll just supervise them more. Like your friend's son who's in film school, that type of thing. So that leads me to best practice number 5. Hire a results-oriented visual storyteller. Now, I recommend hiring an experienced producer who really has a track record, someone whose videos are proven to tell stories at the level of quality that inherently reflects your brand quality. That's the key. The quality of the video has to reflect your brand quality. And you should look for someone whose work is proven to generate actual results. So when you're interviewing videographers or producers, ask to see their work and the financial results of their work. That is going to weed out a whole lot of producers and all those people I fondly call vidiots. They're not going to be in your market if they can't produce financial results. Some people do creative videos that don't really reflect well on your brand and that don't really ever catch on. They waste money. They make you look kind of dorky. It's not a good way to go. I do have a real story here about a client who tried to save money while producing a video that was intended to make them money. And I think this is pretty illuminating. A nonprofit organization, this was called the Cystinosis Research Foundation. They're down in Orange County, California, and they're still in existence today. They needed a 10-minute fundraising video that they were going to show at their annual gala dinner, which is their big fundraising event. So they put out an RFP for a video involving multiple interviews with families around the US and some scientists in Europe. So there was a lot of location shooting. And I responded to them with a budget proposal of $60,000 for their 10-minute video. Now, a friend of theirs came along who was a video hobbyist, and he offered to do, quote, the same video for just $15,000. Now, that's a quarter of my price, right? I can understand. They chose the friend, not surprisingly. So as they'll tell you, that friend required a lot of supervision, a lot of hand-holding, a lot of prodding to get the video done on time. They were literally biting their nails up until the day before the event. Is he going to get this delivered? Ultimately, he did a decent job. But the video didn't really reflect the standards of the organization. But they went ahead and showed it anyway, right? They had to. Now, that year, donors gave a respectable $540,000 on the night of the dinner. That sounds pretty awesome. The video only cost 2.7% of the money they raised. And, I'm thinking, hey, that's pretty good, right? Well, until you hear what happened the following year. So year 2, they wanted another 10-minute fundraising video for their gala dinner. Fortunately, they realized that saving money hadn't really been worth the stress to them. They also realized that they really wanted the video to be national quality to convey their organization's excellence, because they knew seeing that excellence visually was going to help gain the trust of donors. They also wanted to tell their story with more emotional impact. The previous video was a little distant. They wanted it to be more engaging and emotional. So they actually said yes to my proposal. And we went ahead and produced that $60,000 video. Now, when they played it at their dinner, something really magical happened. For one thing, nearly everyone in the audience had tears in their eyes. And for that 10 minutes, they all lived the experience of raising a child with cystinosis, and they emotionally and viscerally understood why finding a cure was so important. And they pulled out their checkbooks. That audience donated $3.2 million that night. That video only cost them 1.9% of the money they raised, which isn't that far off from the prior year. But think about the difference. The new video helped raise 5.8 times what they raised the prior year. And those millions of dollars were the cash infusion they needed to actually develop a time-release medication that changed the lives of every kid with cystinosis and their families. So year over year, from one year to the next, there was a $2.5 million difference in the opportunity cost of choosing their first producer based on price and not on results. So, soak that in. I mean, $2.5 million because they saved $45,000. Okay. But it doesn't make sense when you really dig in. So here's what I'm getting at. Your professional videos will communicate on your behalf, and hopefully they'll do it for years to come. They'll have a long shelf life. They're going to be your proxy, your clone. So you'd better be proud of them. That's really my point. They have to communicate the value you provide and tell your story just the way you want it told. They are going to do a lot of heavy lifting, right? They're going to be finding you new leads. They're going to be convincing and converting. They're going to save you time. They're going to line your bank account. if they're done right. Those videos are going to actually give you the freedom not to do everything yourself anymore in person. You know, these release you from that. So when you think of it that way, producing videos that really capture the essence of you and your company is a big deal, because they're key to achieving that work-life balance that you want. So basically, here's the bottom line. You deserve great videos out there representing you. So cutting corners just isn't going to be wise. They're not going to reflect well on you. Okay, more meat. Let's talk about a proven video strategy for telecom resellers. At Voodoo, we map out video strategies in relation to the 5 stages of the customer lifecycle. You can see them on your screen: prospecting and lead generation, sales message process, post-sale communications, client relations and touch points, and referrals and testimonials. Now, those can be broken into 3 primary periods or phases that they encompass. The first 2 are pre-sale, the 3 and 4 are post-sale, and 5 is referral generation. So let's kind of focus in on those: pre-sale, post-sale, referral gen. Pre-sale is referring to the whole process of finding leads, nurturing them into prospects, and converting them into paying customers. The key is that your entire video strategy, even with quite a few videos, should pay for itself just based on your pre-sale videos alone. They'll help you pay for the other videos you're going to need later on, post-sale, and to generate referrals. Now we can and should look at this in terms of your funnel. So depending on your sales process, these videos are likely to include top of funnel videos. I like to call them tofu videos. Tofu videos that are going to capture attention, they're going to build awareness, and they'll establish relevance, your company's relevance. Middle of funnel videos, those are giving high level information and they're generating interest and intent. And then bottom of funnel, or BOFU videos, to provide specific information. This is where the customer, potential customer, is kind of evaluating fit and the functionality you offer, and the priority of getting this done and the ROI and all that. Post-sale videos, those refer to the process of keeping your current customers informed, making sure they're happy and fully upgraded, and measuring their satisfaction. So these videos are going to do things for you, like saying thank you in a direct and personal way. They're going to provide essential user information, maybe contacts that the customer needs. They're going to anticipate customer needs. The more you can have videos that reach out at key times in the relationship, the better. They're going to offer add-ons and upgrades. And you're also, in this automated process, going to use surveys to gain insight into your customers' needs and attitudes. Referral generation is pretty obvious, but that's about empowering your happy customers to really understand the value you provide them and encourage them to share that value with others. And they're going to use video to do that, so they'll be communicating it perfectly every time. So for all these multi-stage videos to help you work less while selling more, the process has to be automated. And that automation needs to be tied to your sales process, your business triggers, your seasonal calendar, your customer satisfaction, etc. And while you're at it, you'll want to brand and personalize everything and make sure you get notified in real time about hot leads so that you can book appointments and generate more sales. Okay, now we don't have time today to explore all the videos you'll eventually want working for you, but I'm going to go into a little detail about your pre-sale videos. So don't worry about the other stages at this moment, because at the end of the webinar, we're going to give you that chance to take the next step and explore and map out the videos for all 5 of the life cycle stages. And we'll do that during that private strategy session that I mentioned before. You might be thinking, I know I want pre-sale videos, but how can I possibly afford to produce videos for the top, the middle, and the bottom of my funnel? That's going to cost me thousands of dollars. The good news is you don't have to produce all those videos. Voodoo and your vendors will supply most of what you need. So let's take a look at that. Your top of funnel videos are tasked with capturing attention, building awareness, and establishing relevance. Now, ideally, you'll pull together a budget to produce at least 1 custom video aimed at your ideal target audience. And remember, that video is not going to be all about you. Instead, it's going to identify the needs of the target group, It's going to show how your company solves their problems and serves them better than anyone else. If you get a lot of business from vertical targets, each one deserves a version of their own. And you can do that pretty inexpensively. So anyway, creating your own custom video or videos should be at the top of your wish list. If you don't have one, or if you can't afford one right now, that's really not an excuse to wait on a video strategy, because even without a custom video, there are other top of funnel videos that are open doors and find qualified leads. Last year, Voodoo pulled together a telecom advisory board. Now, these were successful telecom dealers, and we asked them exactly what videos they wanted for their prospecting. And they told us they needed vendor agnostic, top of funnel videos for initial prospecting. Vendor agnostic, by the way, means these videos don't mention any specific manufacturer or brand. The idea is to lead with your own brand before recommending any particular solution. So remember, tofu is the initial attraction stage, and the key there is demand generation. That's why you need videos that focus on customer needs without pushing a particular brand or solution. It's going to make it way easier for you to find qualified leads, gain that trusted advisor status you want, and to start setting more appointments. Now, thanks to our telecom advisory board, we've already produced 4 of these top of funnel videos. They are animated whiteboard explainer videos, and they cover the essential benefits of VoIP, unified communications, and hosted voice. Now, why did we do whiteboards? And the answer is because people just love them. I mentioned before, people watch them all the way through. They're engaging, entertaining. Most importantly, they make your prospects relax and smile, which is exactly what you want them to do. And it's that kind of happy feeling you want them to associate with your brand. So what I'm really trying to communicate here is that if you're worried about the cost of those top of funnel videos, just take a moment to let this sink in. There's already a series of prospecting videos ready to go, and they're going to make advanced video marketing available to you right now. You don't have to produce a video to get started. Now, these videos are valued at a minimum of $7,000 each if you were to produce them yourself. Now, that's $28,000 worth of video production, and it's just waiting for you to leverage. And we have more on the way. We're actually planning to produce 1 new video per month throughout 2016. And some of these are going to be a little different format. We're not always going to do whiteboards. But for Voodoo, by making these available to multiple dealers through our system, we're actually able to make them very affordable. So more on that a bit later. Now, at your own private strategy session, we're going to explain how you can get unlimited access to these videos through your own Voodoo system. And when you do that, each video is going to automatically be customized. The video will get framed with your company logo and branding elements. And the video will be personalized for each individual sales rep using our digital business card feature, which increases response rates by 3 to 7% on average. That's a pretty big deal when you think about the importance of response. Okay, let's take a quick moment to see how you can use these top of funnel videos to generate new biz. Email prospecting. Ideally, your automated video system is going to include pre-built prospecting campaigns and hot lead notifications. So if it does, you're not even going to have to write an email. A well-crafted and tested e-video campaign is going to generate high open and click-through rates. You just send the campaign, wait for the lead notifications, and you'll know exactly who watched and who needs a follow-up call to secure an appointment. You'll also use these top-of-funnel videos in social media. You got to feed that social media beast, right? So you and your reps can actually post these videos on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and you're going to build traffic, engagement, fans, connections, and followers. And with the right platform in place, you're going to know exactly how many people clicked through to watch from each post. You're going to see surprisingly high view rates in a lot of cases. And better yet, each rep is going to get direct response when prospects want to know more. So those are the innovative top of funnel prospecting videos and how you'll use them. Now, some big news. I mentioned these door openers are worth $28,000 if you were to produce them yourselves. When you sign up for a Voodoo Business Builder through this webinar or the strategy session after it, you're going to get unlimited use of all 4 of those videos. They're going to come free with your subscription. So your top of funnel is basically covered. That's the good news. Okay, let's take a super quick look. I know I'm going a little long here, but I want you to look at the middle and bottom of funnel videos for a sec. Videos in this stage should really increase buyer interest and intent. Really good ones are going to drive action. They're going to push people to the next stage in the buying journey, including closing the deal. Telecom manufacturers, most telecom manufacturers have good to excellent vendor and solution-specific videos for the middle and the bottom of the funnel. And a lot of those vendors have spent thousands producing the content, and you just don't have to. You know, they want you to use their videos. So some examples are product explainers, customer stories, micro demos, and detailed demos and instructional videos. A lot of those are kind of screen capture videos. So stepping back from that, we really recommend focusing on your pre-sale videos first because they help you sell more faster and they're going to generate those returns you want. So since you guys are all telecom resellers, you have a lot in common. However, each of your individual companies is unique because of the range of manufacturers you represent, the verticals you specialize in, your sales team, your sales process, how you service your customers, etc. So because of all those differences, you really do want and need a strategy that's tailored to your company. You're going to get a lot more bang for the buck if you do that. If you want a strategy of your own, just stay with me through the Q&A and you'll get eligible for a free private strategy session where we can figure all that out. Let's touch quickly on deployment tools. This is what you need to automate your videos. There are a lot of email and marketing automation and tools on the market now. Voodoo just happens to be the only one that's a combined solution that's centered on video. Our Voodoo Business Builder is designed to connect video to your sales cycle and your business triggers. From capture forms on your website to automated drip campaigns, from quick sends that you do to one or two people, to campaigns for large groups of new prospects. You can handle your software assurance renewals. You can do customer satisfaction surveys. A lot you can do with the system. And I'm going to jump ahead. I also mentioned we have a mobile app coming in May, very soon. And that's going to give reps in the field access to all these core business builder features. So they're going to have the ability to launch campaigns and share their own custom branded personalized videos anywhere they are with anyone. And here's also more news on the cost. Companies that sign up for a business builder now are going to automatically get the mobile app at no charge when we roll it out. So that's a nice benefit. So what is the net result of automated video? Your setup should consistently and automatically reach out on your behalf of you and your reps, and it should make your business look great in the process. That's how you're going to build your brand and sell more with less effort. So remember earlier today when I told you about my experience marketing before the internet and how different things are now? Well, these promises I make confidently today, they would have been totally outlandish 20 years ago. And the way I describe that is that today, web video lets you and your company get amped. I like to use that term because that's my acronym for affordable, measurable, and predictable. So here's a quick example. I like this one because it was a group of telecom reps selling business phone systems like you guys do every day. In this case, it was Mitel. This is a few years back when they had an inside sales team. Now the company made an initial investment of $18,000 with Voodoo, and that paid for one video and the use of our business builder system, customized and personalized for a large group of their reps. We launched an email and video campaign on the reps' behalf. They didn't even have to log in, by the way. And Mitel's $18,000 investment turned into $640,000 in net new business during the first month of measured results. And even better, the program had a multi-year shelf life, so it kept cranking away like this. But their investment was only 7% of the profit produced in the first month. Another way you can look at that is they got a 1,422% return in 30 days. So that, I think, is a pretty dramatic example of the power of video. The results are not always that dramatic, but I do want everyone on this call to engage their own unique video strategy so you can amp your marketing too. Okay, so we're going to open up the Q&A chat line. Before we do, just stay with me to the end if you possibly can, because I want you to know and be able to sign up for that one-on-one strategy session. Actually, I'm thinking better of that. Let's since we're getting a little late, let's go ahead and post the offer now. So those of you who know you want a strategy session can sign up while we're answering questions. Let me see if I'll take care of that for just a moment here. Let me get the offer up. Okay, it is live. Hopefully you can all see that. And let's open up for Q&A. Q&A is enabled. You should see it toward the left of your interface, if in fact you have questions. So I'll leave that open for a little while. And in the meantime, what I'll do, I don't see anyone with a question yet. Come on, guys, you got to have some questions. What I might do is just go ahead and move ahead. And if a question comes in, then I will pause and answer that. Okay, I'll go ahead and go to my next slide here. I'll talk a little bit about that strategy session. The private video success plan session is something where we are going to sit with you. It'll be a web call. Has a $750 value. We're giving it free. We're going to get specific about building your automated video system so you can work less and sell more. We just have two requirements for you to be eligible for this. So the first is you do need to sign up today, and you're going to need to go into your system or click on that offer that's there in front of you, sign up today. And what you'll also need to do is return the video strategy survey you're going to receive. So when you sign up, you'll be put into one of our funnels, and you're going to be sent a video strategy survey later today. It's going to have 10 simple questions. We just need to learn what's unique about your company, and we need to know something about your experience with video marketing thus far. So fill it out and return it, and that's what'll make you eligible for the free session. I see a question from Scott. Thanks, Scott. Do you have anything for structured cabling? The answer is not yet. We can easily look around the internet, and this is something you can do as well. Quite often what we find is that there is good video content, some of which is generic, which is what you'd be looking for in this case, that either explains or describes exactly what it is you need to describe to your clients. The beauty of the Voodoo system is that you can install any video you find into the Voodoo system, and then when you actually play the videos, they will be custom branded in your web frame, and they'll have your digital business card at the bottom. So hopefully that answers your question, but feel free to, if you want more detail, I can provide that. Really any topic you can think of, a fast way to check out and see what's out there that you might be able to install in your system is to just go to YouTube, look around, see what's there. We've had many clients find things on YouTube that are relevant to them. And that can be also true of your vendors. Go to the manufacturer YouTube channels, look around and see what videos are really relevant to you. When you have a business builder system, you can install any YouTube video into it. So it really opens it up. It's kind of a sky's the limit situation. Okay, another question. How often should you post new videos? That, of course, is a challenging question only because it comes down to where. What are we talking about when you say how often should you post? I assume you're talking about social media. And I look at each of the different social media platforms as its own unique beast. Let's say, for example, Twitter is a good example. Because to me, my analogy for Twitter is it's a river of information. The information is constantly flowing by. People are putting up tweets constantly. Now, let me give you an example. I did an interview for Channel Maven Consulting, a company up in Denver. And they took that interview and they packaged it, they put it on their blog. And I've watched the way they're using it in their Twitter feed. There is not a day that goes by where they don't post a different version of the post about that blog interview in their Twitter feed. So over and over and over again, they're repurposing the same content. You can do the same thing with your videos. And if you have multiple videos, like, again, these top of funnel videos, imagine you got 4 videos immediately. You could literally Monday do video 1, Tuesday video 2, Wednesday video 3, Thursday video 4, and then you could bounce it around. You could start doing video 2 again, video 3, switch back to 1, change the subject line. It's really unlimited when you're in the Twitter environment. You can't really over tweet this stuff. Now, a little different when you're in Facebook, for example, where your feed tends to sit there, and as long as you're not, pumping tons of information into it, it can have some real value. You may even want to take a post and boost it, pay a little bit to reach more people on a targeted basis. In that case, I've seen companies do it as often as daily, but at a minimum, weekly is a good idea. And that also is, LinkedIn and Facebook might as well be the same platform in terms of frequency and things like that. So hopefully that answers the question. When it comes to email campaigns, the answer is a little bit different. You have to be pretty specific in how you approach your email campaigns. You do not want to over contact people, because you will alienate them. And in that case, the balance we look at is how often are you providing just good information and how often are you selling? And the rule of thumb is to sell no more than 1/3 of the time. 2/3 of the time, your content, your outreach ought to be informational and helpful. So hopefully that'll help. Okay, so you know how to become eligible for your free Strashen. I'm going to do one more thing here and just tell you what we're going to cover on that strategy session. We'll detail all the options and some value pricing that's available for you to get your own business builder system and what it will take to put it to work for you and your reps. We are going to offer special rates on video production services. So if you do want an expert to help you create one or more custom videos, we're available to do that. Based on the options you choose, we are actually going to calculate your projected ROI so you can easily cost justify your investment in video. And there's no obligation to buy on this call, no pressure at all. We just want you to understand exactly how to make this work for you and what it will cost. So by the end of that session, you're going to actually have a video success plan in place, and you're going to know the next steps you need to really cut an hour off your workday and double your sales. So I truly hope you'll join us for that. I really want to thank you all for your attention. We've just hit the 11 a.m. mark here in the Pacific time zone. I do hope you enjoyed the webinar and got a lot of insight and practical value. And actually, I kind of hope your takeaway is something like this. Okay, I understand about video, and I understand also that not implementing a video marketing strategy would be like not buying a lottery ticket when you know you have the winning numbers. That's really what this is like. So the Voodoo team and I are really looking forward to meeting you at your strategy session. Please use the offer to sign up. We will also, as we leave this webinar, we're also going to redirect you to that sign up page to make it particularly easy for you. So I'm going to do that in just a moment. But thank you all so much for attending, and we look forward to talking to you on your strategy call. Thank you much.